Okay, I want to do another video here. I don't feel like moving around. Yeah, bending over in a bathtub, washing, oh, I don't know. I did 5 6-gallon buckets. I think 3 5-gallon buckets. 7 2-gallon buckets. And a whole bunch of freaking gamma lids. Okay? Serious. And then just whatever else I've been doing. So anyway, I've been sitting on this for a little while now. I don't know. We're going to just see here. What it is they're old videos. I guess I should say the date first though. February 4th of 2023. Second video of the day. Okay. That's not what I want. I want this. Okay. So, Shelley from Massachusetts on the east coast of the United States of America got into some of my older videos and made a comment. Now, one of them, she did three different videos she got into. How she found them, I don't know. That's why I need to put things in a playlist. But besides that point, she made comment. I commented back to her on the first video that I watched. But these ones I haven't commented on yet. I haven't even given her a heart, right? Because if you give her a heart, then what happens is it disappears into the feed, where if I just leave it like that, it comes up as published. So before I give her a heart and maybe make a comment, but it's not like I have to because I'm doing a video on it, I'll comment as I go in regards to whatever the video is about. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to get into the video and we're going to watch the video. And I'm going to go back into memory lane and I'm going to comment on what was going on at that time. Because when you're coming into these videos randomly like this, you don't know the whole story if you haven't been around long enough, right? So you're going to get gaps. And this is why it's important that I find the time somehow, some way to build on my playlists. So you can go from video to video to video to video if you want to get the full fucking story. Sorry, boo-boo story, right? So, you know, you're not being biased about something that you see in one particular video that maybe, you know, irked you or something, right? You know? You have to understand the progression, the pattern. Right? Okay, so... let me see. So basically what we're doing... Oops. I got this on a jar with my camera plugged in the dark, so I'm not getting no glare. And my sleeve caught the cord. Okay, so this is the video that she pulled up. One of them. It says, "Burden on the Landlord. Mr. Lace up for grabs," and this was done on September 11th of 2015. Okay, and then she did this one. She commented. I haven't done a response on it yet. I will now though, after I do what I'm doing. And this one's called "Shut Up, Mum," November 12th of 2014. Okay, so we're gonna go with the video that's older. Right? And obviously my kids were being rude to me because, you know, it's not been easy living in this house, people. And, you know, at that time, Sierra was a full-blown addict that was using drugs through injection, to which some people say they're junkies. Although other people say, well, why call him a junkie? You know, well, the junkie just relates to the needle itself, right? In terms of that's what they're addicted to, injecting drugs into their veins. Oh, there's a cat scratching. Stop scratching! Making noise! Stop it! Freaking animals. Getting on my nerves, man. Stop it! Stop being a hound! Get out of here! Scratching for food in a bucket. In that smelly bucket that had soy sauce in it. I don't have a lid on it. Anyway. And then burden on the landlord, Mr. Lace up for grabs September 11th of 2015. That was after Uncle John got medically kidnapped, right? Because he went into the hospital on January 13th of 2015, and by February 23rd of 2015, they were loading his sedated ass up into a hammock, stuffed him into the van, Eleanor Gilding's van, and then he slept on the ferry, in the bowels of the ferry, in that hammock, all drugged up, because they medically kidnapped him, people. Okay? And when they got to the other side of the water, he started to wake up. And he went into a nervous breakdown, and they rushed him to the emergency ward at the Victoria General Hospital. And then tried to point the fingers at me by saying, this is how we found him. No, that's how they made him. And they almost killed him. Let me remind people of that. And obviously, my landlords were taking some of the brunt of that shit because through the shenanigans of Fraser Health Authority and CIBC Bank, they basically bankrupted my house for the umpteenth time, being that they're in partnership with a corrupt government, or, as in the case of Fraser Health Authority staff, are employed by the government. To which we got Sonia 2, a.k.a. the representative of the Attorney General's Office of British Columbia, Canada, trying to cover it up. You're not going to get all that information if you're coming in green. If you're a newbie, you wouldn't know. But I don't want Shelley thinking that I'm ignoring her, because I'm not. So anyway, shut up, Mom. November 12th of 2014. Truly Amazing comes in and says, I'm sorry, Miss Judy, this happened so long ago. I didn't watch this before. Well, she couldn't because they're buried. They're hard to find, right? That's why I got to do this playlist. Until today. I hope you and your grandchildren are doing well. Okay. So let's see what was going on. Obviously my kid's ragging. Right? Sierra running in and out, being a menace with her drug addiction, stressing everybody out. Right? As she fell through the healthcare cracks. Yeah, we know how that works, right? I'm looking for my freaking mouse, man. I swear somebody... Oh, I guess it would help if I had the right mouse. I have two computers here. Can't blame the mouse this time. Okay, members and friends. I don't know. I don't know how to say this. All I know is I'm like more and more leaning towards kicking out all my kids. So everybody was stressing. Yeah, because of what the hell was going on in general. It started with Sierra. Right? They get them addicted to drugs, young people, so they import that dysfunction into your house. Literally. And then the handlers worked the one that got addicted to the drugs right up until their death, really. You know, they manipulate the situation, right? Control the individual that's addicted to the drugs. Well, the individual never does get better. And then when they do get better, they get sabotaged, so they end up back out on the streets. That's the shit that was going on at the time, okay?
I'm done. I'm done living with bitchy people that somehow seem to think that they are, one, smarter than me, more worthy than me.
Obviously, I'm talking about my kids here. Where does this honorary, like in terms of haughty, where does this haughty behavior come from? Well, I can tell you exactly where it comes from, people. The internet. The internet, social media, cell phones, everybody's a fucking, what is that, keyboard Rambo, keyboard warrior, right? They know everything because they can Google it in the blink of an eye and, or whatever. A lot of pissing contests going on. Unless, of course, you want to beat your kids into submission. Then I suppose you'd probably have well-behaved kids, but I never beat my kids, so...
More entitled to have everything done for them with the least amount of giving back into the house in terms of doing their fair share. They think they can tell me to shut up when I ask them to do something or I try to bring to their attention. Like there's a bunch of, things that need to be, oh, shut up, why are you talking? I'm done. After this, right now I'm...
If you notice, I'm not done, though. I'm still stuck in the same freaking chair. Go figure.
Converting a video with,
bitching on about similar shit. One way or another, it's all the same, right?
Individual that I did an interview with because she's homeless. And every day I fight against becoming like her. And every day that goes forward, it just seems like I'm just getting closer to that, people. Sooner or later.
Leave me alone.
Because nobody
video. I don't want to
is helping me to maintain on what I have here in this house. My landlord gets what they want. They got their mortgage paid for.
Okay, I gotta go back. My grandson was distracted.
My landlord gets what they want.
He's famous at that.
Is helping me to maintain on what I have here in this house. My landlord gets what they want. They got their mortgage paid for, never missed a day's rent, and they got a whole bunch of yard work done for free. And they're getting amenities, because the greenhouse is almost done now. Next year, if I'm still here, I'll replace the plastic with glass. Canning tomatoes, making ketchup. Well, when you think you have kids, or young adolescent teenagers and young adults that are still somehow your kid, and you've been a parent for 30 years of your life, and everything is going skyrocket off the roof in the grocery store.
Oh wow,
Costs
that's
$5 just to buy a
2014.
container of freaking ketchup, $3 for the cheap kind. Right?
I should go see what it
What
is
you gonna
now.
do? You're gonna try and save money. And that's what I did.
And I still have canned tomatoes
I
and
don't
canned
know. I'm
tomato
wasting my
sauce
time.
from 2014.
Because
People, you
I don't
watch
even
and
know
see.
if I'm
I'll
gonna
be
be able to
cooking with
keep
it.
this house because I'm kicking out my fucking kids. I got in tonight with my 16-year-old because she told me to shut up.
Oh, that would have
Like
been
my
Shimei.
19-year-old likes to tell me to
Oh
shut
wait,
up.
no, that would have been Tisha.
Like
Would have been
my
16.
daughter, 26-year-old, likes to tell me to shut
Tisha
up.
was 16.
Well, my
Shimei was 19.
22-year-old son just
Sierra
walks
was
off,
whatever.
which
It's
is
just
a form of shut up.
oh
I don't want to talk about it now. Leave me alone.
he still does that. I don't want to talk about
So
it
in
right
other words,
now.
shut up, Mom. Well, Mom's
Hurry
gonna
up, Mom.
shut up, man. I'm gonna fucking shut up. I'm shutting up the basement. I'm kicking them all out. My 16-year-old. Well, don't try and convince me to stay then. Don't worry, I'm not. You want to grow up to be a loudmouth black woman that doesn't want to educate yourself, right? Because you're all about the, let me see what I look like today. Well, you tell your mother to shut up.
Doesn't take much to trigger me, people.
I told her to pack your fucking clothes and get out. You be the first one. Because then it will be easier to kick out the other two. Well, my oldest daughter's gone. And she's been coming around and just picking fights all the time.
There you go, see?
Doesn't want to work on making herself any better than the rest of them with their issues. So, I feel like, oh yes, with my daughter, I said, you know, like you guys don't help me, like you fucking slobs, right? You're all slobs. I got slobs for kids because they don't fucking help me clean. They don't help me with the same mantra that I've been saying for a long time.
It's called taking advantage of their parents.
Because, you know, I did the canning over the summer
taking
for
things
the
for
jam,
granted.
And then I had to play catch up with the yard, and then I made some ketchup. Right in the meantime, I'm looking after my dad, my stepdad, who can hardly move. He drools. He misses the toilet.
Oh yeah, he did.
I have to clean up after him, like, as soon as I'm done washing the floor by hand, people, because my landlord made it so hard for me, I can't even use a fucking mop on the floor, so everything has to be done by hand. As soon as I'm done washing the floor, guess who comes along behind me?
That's
and
why
I said to my daughter, I said, when
deal
was the last time
with
you
the
washed
Mari,
the floor?
right?
When was the last time you swept the floor? Because your floor, you're the slob, look at your floor. Well, yeah, because for the last, 4 or 5 days, I've been outside collecting wood for my landlady so that I can cover up her mud, her weeds, her raccoon shit. So that after when I move out,
my yard didn't have those amenities back in those days.
Whether she sells the house or whether she rents it for more money. Because that's what's going to happen. You know? So I'm outside. I've been outside. You know what kind of weather is? I feel like a fucking framing in 20 below weather.
Yep.
For the last 3 days, 4 days, 5 days.
Did it for years and years and years, people in this house.
Day. For 5 hours a day.
Or 12 hours a day. 10 to 10.
Trying to get a handle on this yard 5 years fucking later. Well, my kids just don't give a shit. Basically. Because who cares about the yard? You know, just feed me. Just give me hydro. Just give me a room. Just give me laundry. Give me money. When I want money, mother, you give me money. Just give me, and give me some more. And when I confront you on it, well, you look at you. Well, you're the one with the problem. You're the one that doesn't, you don't know how to fucking clean. What are you talking about? Yeah, that's right. That's why I'm going to wash my floor tonight at fucking 4 o'clock in the morning on my second shift. I do 2 shifts, people. I do the morning shift and I do the fucking night shift.
I still do 2 shifts.
There is no future with these stupid, idiotic fucking human beings that want to call themselves my children. They are not my children. I am disconnecting myself from abusive people.
But you see, people, when your government with their employees go out of their way to implode a family from the inside out through illegal evictions of vulnerable individuals, as in the case of Sierra being illegally evicted from her home on December 10th of 2012, in the middle of winter, just so they could come in January and illegally apprehend Andre so that the mother never recovers, because of course the eviction resulted in her what is that called, relapsing and then being introduced to the needle, which pretty much was a slam dunk when it came to the permanency of a heroin addiction through injection, because the injection itself becomes the greater addiction compared to the actual drug itself, right? The people that do this kind of stuff, they know that, which it only takes one to disrupt the whole house. So by this time, right, we'd already lost Andre. I went to court 22 times fighting for Andre in a period of 15 months. Got him back in April of 2014. But the residue of the mother being resentful, thank you. But the residue of the mother being resentful because, one, she wasn't allowed to live at home because Andre was back at home by this time. Two, she wasn't getting the medical need, her medical needs met in terms of proper rehab, proper rehabilitation, proper housing, any kind of safety net, really. You know, which created a lot of frustration with the kids that were trying to be responsible. Shimei was going to school. I don't know. I think Marcane was working by that time. If he wasn't, he was in college, right? Tisha going to school, right? Nobody was getting into trouble. The only one that was getting into trouble was Sierra, and it wasn't like that she was getting into trouble. No, she was homeless out on the streets with no resources, people, after she was illegally evicted out of her home. Okay? So, you know, if you don't know that history, you don't understand why I'm saying what I'm saying in terms of the way my kids were behaving, right? This is why when you get into high density populations, a high density population where there's a high level of poverty, just that poverty itself with the handlers in the community that exploit those situations to create those situations, to control those situations, to capitalize and profiteer off of those types of situations. There's a high level of dysfunction within the community itself, from house to house to house to house, right? Because it's manufactured, it's created by the ones that are supposed to be here to help and serve the public, but they don't, people. It's quite the opposite. Okay.
I don't care if they came out of my own body or if they're my fucking neighbor across the street. And if I'm going to lose this house, I'm going to lose it on my terms, not on a bunch of bitchy-ass kids that are slobs. And one day they're going to watch this video. One day they're going to watch this fucking video and they're going to think, oh, gee, maybe Mom was right. Maybe Mom was right. The war is on. 16 years old, running off to the fucking discotheque. Like, what kind of bullshit is that?
I did it when I was young.
Shut up! Shut up! Yeah, I'll show you shut up. A son that's like 6 foot fucking 240 fucking pounds, and he works 5 minutes out there and he's complaining like, ooh, well, gee, well, you're just bringing home more stuff. Yeah, because you're not the one that has to go out there and walk around in that fucking mud out there and those fucking weeds and that fucking raccoon shit, and then come back and say, oh, well, gee, what a nice yard we live in, so the neighbors can sit up there and cast their fucking stones and can just come into the house.
Yeah. I never lived in such a hard house in all my life.
Cover it up.
I'm still
watery gutters
struggling.
And the flood from next door with the guy with no tiles around his house, so all the water just washes into my yard on top of what washes off the fucking roof. Oh, you don't work, Mom. I work at McDonald's, but you don't work. What do you know about working? I don't know. You tell me. How old are you? 19? You got it this fucking far.
No,
You're
I'm
still
talking
living
about
with your
Shemaine.
parents. So you tell me all about working. I'm done working for these.
Turn that down.
I don't know what they are. Honest fucking God. I don't know what they are. I'm shutting it down, though. I'm fucking shutting it down. I'm going to be a bitch until they're fucking out. And then after they're out, I don't want to see them for a while. No.
What kind of
I'll turn
mother
off
does
fucking
that?
hydro. I'll
Kicks
run
out
around
all
with
her
fucking
kids at
candle.
one time.
I'll turn on my fucking my stove. And I'll use an electric burner to fucking heat the house. So that we don't have to use gas. Because you can't afford to live in fucking BC anymore anyway. Because, you know, we're just going to end up homeless. Very soon. And my kids,
I'm
they
still
just, you know,
facing
they're
that
young,
problem.
right? So take
That's
out
why I'm
fast
going to do
food.
my
It's easy
video
for
on
them.
this housing situation
Until one
out
day
here.
they sit there and they look at my videos and they realize what nutballs they really are because they threw away a whole lot of good opportunity. They treat me like I'm some drunk that's been abusing them all these fucking years.
That's social media
And all
for you,
I've been
though.
doing is working hard.
Computer.
And when the Gordon Campbell government came along and
Keyboard
threw us out in
warriors.
the fucking street, I picked this up and I made sure they were safe. I made sure they had a roof over their head, food in their stomachs, fucking hydro, money when they wanted it. And I kept this together, and now they're just tearing us apart.
No,
And
it's
this
the
landlord
government that was
with
tearing
the
us
funky
apart,
ass
people.
fucking yard, saying, well, I'm old, my kids don't want to help me either.
Called social
Deal with
engineering.
it. You fucking do the little job. Well, as my family's imploding, because the little jobs aren't getting done because the landlord's being negligent, and they're putting too much fucking burden on me to do their fucking yard for them. Well, maybe one day they'll watch this video and show some remorse. You know?
Well, it's a little
when you
late
get
now.
up to the pearly gates,
I've
God
gone
will say,
blind
what did
almost.
you do? What the fuck did you do? How did you gain your wealth? By exploiting poor people? By pushing them out into the streets? After you take, and fucking take until there's nothing left to take?
This is true, people. This is what's going on
That's
out
your
in British
role
Columbia,
model shit?
Canada, right now,
That's
as I
what you
speak.
taught my kids since I've been in this fucking hole for the last 5 fucking years. Still out in the fucking yard today in like ice cold weather
Yeah.
so that your property value can go up? Will my kids treat me like garbage? And then say I don't work?
Yeah. Because the city, people kept sicking the city on me.
I'm
Right?
going down swinging, people! It's my house, and I will lose it on my fucking terms!
Yeah. My landlords wanted me out so they could rent out the house for double the money,
Yeah.
people.
I'm really mad! I'm kicking them out! I'll start selling the fucking shit!
If it wasn't that, it was the neighbor,
And when I'm
the
out
owner
there
next door
homeless
wanting me
with
out
the rest
so
of
that
those
he
people,
could rent it out to somebody
trust
else,
me,
make more
I'll
money, and
find a way.
make more money
I
for
will
my
find a
landlord.
fucking way
Or better yet, buy the
to
house
keep
for
it out
himself.
And my kids can look back on it, and they'll have something really fucking proud to be of. Right? Something really proud to be of. Just like my landlord's got something fucking proud to be of.
That for
Because
sale
after
sign is
I
still
leave-
outside.
There's gonna be people that are gonna want this shit. Yeah. Yeah. They're gonna want it. Alrighty, yo. So I've done the best I can in here. It's still pretty cold.
Okay.
It's gonna need some kind of heater at some point. I just started
That's the
chopping
X
off
Club.
some leaves.
Talking
here. I'm
about
gonna
the X
dehydrate
Club.
it.
Cleaned it
I
out
put an
again.
extra piece of plastic on there. Installed another window. Those two up in there. And I did this one in this corner over here. But
Still
it's
holding up.
really,
Oh, no, that's the
really
greenhouse.
cold, so
I'm in the
I'm
greenhouse.
going to go in the front and I'm going to chop that little bit of
That's what it looked like.
Swiss chard and
I
I'm
was
just going to
putting it together.
dehydrate it. So
This
maybe
year
I
I'm
might be
gutting
able
it.
to find some sort of little plastic
gutting it.
container or something to cover these things up, these small ones
Put
anyway.
some more
So
plastic
that's it,
up on
people.
top.
It's getting pretty much done in here for now until springtime. Hold on.
Maybe set up some hydroponic, cracky hydroponic, what's that called? Little system. Try something different just for fun. Right? I asked my landlord's son if he would help me work on the hen house area. I'd like to get a few chickens, and his dad can come and pick the chickens for me, because, you know, he likes birds, right? I'm getting old, and he told me to get chickens anyway. I said it would be nice for your dad to be able to go out and get the hens for me, and he can bring them back. You know, right? Just don't tell my landlady, because, you know, chickens get mucky. But I told him Andre's bigger now, so it's not like he can't get out there and help clean up the coop and whatnot. And when the rubber meets the road, I know my landlady, right? She likes her bounties. So if she comes for rent and can walk off with a big basket of fresh eggs, I'm sure she'd be happy. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, right? But I'm leaning towards getting chickens. We'll see. So, when it came to that video, there was just a lot of stress going on, right? Because Sierra was rebelling. Well, it wasn't even, well, yeah, it was a form of rebellion. And, you know, she'd always picking fights, and because she was addicted to the drugs, and, you know, that struggle with the mental anguish that they go through. And, you know, she was jealous that she couldn't be at home with her son, and she wasn't getting no resources out on the street. She sure in hell wasn't getting the proper help from the healthcare system. I was only capable of doing so much. You know, it was enough that she was doing what she was doing. But my kids in the house were self-imploding because of the residue, the leftover, that cortisol, right, that was created when they kicked her out and took Andre, and then kept us on emotional lockdown for over 15 months as we fought to get him back on that emotional roller coaster. Well, I was being attacked at home through that imploding of the house by them sending in the city and having me work outside in 20 below weather to keep up with their expectations, because, you know, it's not substance that counts, it's the image, the perception of something else. That, but it was just a tool to try and get me out of this house so that the next tenants would be paying twice as much from the moment I moved out, that is. Because the housing corruption was already started in 2014. Right? Started long before that. And that's why I was talking about becoming homeless. Because that was the reality of it. Be quiet.
Huh?
I'm talking.
I don't do anything.
You're making noise. I heard you.
No? What's Maury?
What's he doing?
Talking.
Huh?
Talking.
Oh, that his voice is changing. That sounded like you.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So, now we're going to go into the next video. Burden on the Landlord. Mr. Lace up for grabs. 2011. I'm sorry, September 11th of 2015. Now, this was after they took Uncle John. So whatever they created with the removal of Andre and turning Sierra into a lifelong drug addict, well, no, more like a junkie, okay? There's a difference between a drug addict and a junkie. Trust me, all right? And we hadn't recovered from that. But they turned around and they took John in February. Well, really, you can say from January 13th, from the moment he showed up at the hospital, because he was medically kidnapped by a hospital's entity, Fraser Health Authority, who is employed by the province of British Columbia, Canada, to which Sonia Tu, the representative of the Attorney General's office, fails to acknowledge. Because somewhere in the legislation it was written down that Fraser Health Authority is its own independent authority that employs itself, which is a bunch of crock. Anyway, let's see.
Okay, people, so I'm back. That video that you just watched, if you're watching this after the fact, I made that this afternoon. Then I went outside in the back, which I had planned to do anyway. Because I've been canning people. You know, I look after Andre, and I do dishes every day, and that kind of stuff,
What's
right?
new?
Anyway, someone in my house,
I was saying, I
no
sound like a
names
broken
mentioned.
record.
You see that?
Go away.
Paid their rent for 4 months in advance. Back in the day when Uncle John used to live here, I used to play catch up with the bills. So if I was $700-800 behind on the visas, boom, gone. I'd play catch up anywhere between $1,000 to $1,500 in bills every 4 months,
Not easy raising 5 kids,
whatever those bills were.
looking after an old man that
Buy groceries,
is blind
that kind of
with
stuff.
bad legs.
Maybe fix the car. You know, give my daughter some money to go buy some clothes or something, you know, for school or whatever, right? Or whatever. You know, for this love of money, right? This is not my money. I can't keep this money. I can't pay bills, people. I can't pay bills with this money.
Go away. You have to remember, Uncle John was medically kidnapped.
Well,
They
I
were
got
trying
my
to bankrupt
landlord's
my house.
daughter screaming on the... Well, she wasn't really screaming. But her voice was up there along with mine, right? Oh, the city's going to come in 2 weeks with a truck and take everything
Because they
out
always
of
hold
here.
the city over my
They're
head,
gonna
right?
charge my parents all this money.
That's
and
how these
they're gonna
property
condemn
owners
the
can
house, and
evict
it's
their
gonna be
tenant.
non-livable, and you're going to be homeless. I'm like...
But it's not because you're a bad tenant.
First of all, where the
Okay.
hell did this all come
It's
from?
just because they can raise
Last
the
time
rent
I
after
talked
you're
to
gone.
that city worker, I have him on tape saying he was going to come back in a month and check up on me on the front and to not worry about the back.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I
They
got the
had me
city coming
outside
in 2
working for
fucking
10
weeks with
months
some
straight,
truck,
5, 6,
charging
7
my
days a
landlord
week, people.
$10,000 to take
If I
out
wasn't
wood
doing 5 days a
and
week, I
toys
was doing 7
and
for
buckets
over 10
that
months.
I used to haul
okay?
around dirt and weeds and rocks and tools. And children's swimming pools and stuff
I have
like
video documentation to prove that.
No, the mother's hungry. I got.
And I did it just so I wouldn't get kicked out into no man's land and
The
couldn't
mummy
afford
cat
to
will
rent
eat with the
something
same
else.
bowl with the baby
No.
cat.
No, the baby cat.
These are the homeless
had no
cats.
choice.
Okay, I'm doing a video, so can you please not interrupt me?
It's like being a slave.
Baby cat is eating with the cat food.
Okay, that's good. Please do not interrupt me. We know the routine. You can wait
I will get it.
if you think you can.
Yeah.
Okay. You got it?
Where is it?
Exactly, so you can wait. It's in the can.
Cat? Oh.
Anyway, people,
Oh, so cute.
I think there's just some people, like I said, prior to this, in this neighborhood, that are just jealous. Jealous that they don't have a yard. Jealous that they didn't have chickens, right? Or a rooster, for that matter. And if all it took was one phone call from one person, or maybe 4 phone calls from the
So
same
this is
one
after
person,
they took Mr. Lace.
to get Mr. Lace out of here, like I am going to, after he's gone, I am going through this whole freaking neighborhood, door to door.
So you wouldn't know who
and
Mr.
I'm
Lace
gonna
is
have a petition
unless I
signed
told you he was
to
my
find out
rooster.
who he disturbed, to the point where the city thinks they can come in here, bully my landlord, bully her kids, bully me, bully my kids, and basically rape and pillage 6 years of
I had
hard work.
Mr. Lace for over 2
I'm a
years.
poor person, people.
And then all of a sudden, out of the blue,
I had
one
to
day,
gather up the wood
city
and
showed
the
up
pallets
and said, that's it.
Pieces of plywood, and the
You can't have 'em.
2x4s, and
Yeah.
the 2x2s,
And
the 1x1s,
the chickens that my landlord
all
gave
those
me,
type
too.
of things, in order to build the various things that are being built around the yard. It's not just one
And
thing
then
being
they
built.
use that as
There's
an
stuff in the
excuse
front being built. I have to do awnings over the
to keep me out in the yard for God knows how long.
Right, to keep the shade, to make shade for the fish, so they don't cook under the sun.
I didn't care, right?
did the
was a means
greenhouse
to break
trying
my
to
spirit
control
and
the
keep my
raccoon
family
crap
angry and mad and fighting all the
the
time.
out of control growth of weeds, which the raccoons have now moved into the hen house area and still pooping up over there. So what is the city going to do about that? Because personally, I think raccoons and rats are more dangerous than a chicken would ever be. So yeah, they can take Mr. Lace and the hens out of here, but I'm going to file a civil lawsuit. Is it like it just provincial? $25,000 for the pain and suffering, for coming onto my property and pillaging and taking what they want and defaming me and embarrassing me and just humiliating me and the kids and and just beating us all up and getting us kicked out of our house. Because that's what will happen. If the city comes in here and starts loading up the fucking truck with wood and toys and tools and planter pots and buckets and that kind of stuff, right? Then try and charge my landlord for that because I don't have the money to pay for
I
that.
was a threat. I was a burden to the landlord.
And then
Never got no help
I
at the yard,
get
though.
kicked out of the house with my whole family.
It wasn't even my responsibility.
I mean,
But
this is what's been going on, though. This is what's. I'm wondering if maybe my
landlords were
landlady's
old.
daughter isn't overreacting,
So it's
considering
not like they could do
how
anything.
other landlords and their tenants have been treated in this city. That little homeless cat with the mummy cat, the little kitten that you've seen, the mummy cat's actually quite nice. She's a very nice little cat, really. She's in the bathroom right now, right? Just so not get stressed out. That house got raided by the city, shut down. I don't know what their circumstances were, but everybody got thrown out, boarded up the house, made it so that nobody can live there anymore.
what do you want?
But they're going
I'm
to try and turn
recording.
it into a recovery house. Somebody wants to try and do that.
What?
But at what cost,
That's okay.
right? Like, what kind of hoops are they going to have to
How
jump
much?
through? Point is, there's probably about another 8 or 9 more people homeless with their pets.
Yeah.
My kids
Fast forward.
found a dog the other day. I don't know if somebody sold it to them
Turn on light.
off the street or if they found it. Anyway, they showed up at the house with this dog. I'm like, where the hell did you get that thing from?
I don't know how
Oh,
they
you
cooked it. I
know,
don't even know how they cooked
and I'm
it.
like, okay, well, I
Just
don't
put it
think
in a
people are
bowl,
going to be selling
cover it
dogs
up,
on the
put it in
street.
the fridge, and then tomorrow
Right?
we'll cook it on the
You
stove.
need to go and walk
Just to be
around
sure. You can
in
turn
the
off
next
the light
couple
again.
of days where you basic location from where you found it or got it from or whatever, and look for signs and see if you can find an owner for that thing, because I personally think I seen that thing when I was driving down the road.
Didn't
so I'm
I
a little
just
suspicious.
get into an issue
Oh,
with
yeah,
Little
it's
Mo
cute,
and
Mom, we'll walk, and if somebody comes up and says
you don't
that's
know
my
what
dog,
happened
I'll
with
give it
Little
back.
Mo and Wonder Cat today.
But if you put a sign up saying lost dog with the picture, people are just going to show up and ask for the dog.
You know what?
I said, yeah, okay, you had a point.
Little Mo went into heat. Okay, she's been in the house. I was thinking of getting her fixed, but it's better if they're not in heat, quote unquote. Right? Then I get my, I don't want to call them crazy neighbors, but I get my crazy neighbors showing up, demanding that I give them 2 cats. Whatever. Okay, so they go away. I haven't seen them. Whatever. People do what people do. They get stressed out. Whatever. I don't know what they're stressing on about, but maybe some of it was displaced anger on me. Who knows? We'll find out sooner or later. But slightly paranoid. Don't really want to let the cat out, but she's not in heat anymore, right? And she's getting on my nerves, right? She needs to go to the bathroom outside. I don't want her getting too comfortable, and she needs to eat grass and just whatever, right? And so I'm like, okay, you haven't been showing any signs of being in heat. I'm gonna let you outside today, even though I got my neighbors running up and down the road looking in my yard for you, right? I'm just saying. And I open the door. She goes outside. I leave the door open. Right? Because she hasn't been outside for a couple of 2-3 weeks now, right? Because of this heat situation. And then I left her in for a few extra days because of my neighbors and what they were doing. But finally I broke down. I said, no, you need to go outside, okay? So I'll just take my chances. If they want to be cat nappers, you know, if they want to kidnap a cat, well, nothing I can do to stop that, right? It's no different like than the potato thief or the ones that steal the grapes or the plums or whatever that goes on in this freaking yard. But besides that point, I swear it wasn't even 2 minutes, people. I go outside to see what this cat's doing, and who do I see? Wonder Cat sitting on my doorstep, looking up at little Mo as she's on the cat house that's on this chair on my door, front door, right? And I'm like, where the heck did you come from? Because little Mo is not in heat. She hasn't been meowing. Nothing. There was no indication to show that that cat has been around for any length of time over the last week and a bit, right? But it must have been hiding at the bottom of my steps under the tree. Now, whether that cat is truly homeless, I don't know. Or if it's just hanging out for little Mo, waiting for her to come outside and play. So anyway, I said to hell with it, right? I mean, she's not in heat. They're being friendly. You know, he's in his glory. She's happy to see him. You know, next thing you know, she disappears. And of course, I'm thinking, oh my God, my neighbor's got her, right? And I'm like, just don't get bent out of shape over this cat. Long story short, she ended up coming back in, but I'm talking about the same kind of shit in 2015 with homeless cats.
Long story short, within a day and a half, the dog was back with its homeless owners. It was a homeless dog with homeless people that owned it. And the city just wants to add more to that shit pile over this crap. Right? Bankrupting everybody else around them.
You know what?
So that they can,
Let me tell you something about that. There are people out here that run their little cooking operations in their garages. City doesn't do nothing about that. When it comes to codes and food safe and whatever, right? But whatever. Times are tough. People gonna do what people do. Just like those guys down there by that building that sits empty with their 7 trucks in a row in front of a little teeny weeny 2-bedroom rancher on a major roadway. I walked through the store, I was walking back, there were some guys out there, Punjabis, and I said to one of them, I says, doesn't the city bother you guys for this? He goes, what do you mean? I said, well, no. I'm like, right? You got these big ass dump trucks, moving trucks, bulldozers, whatever you got. There's like 6 or 7 of them all in a row that takes up the front property of this little rancher that's facing a major roadway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. However big lot, the lot, like for however large the lot is the number of monster trucks that they put. They're not trucks, they're like dump trucks and shit, right? Those kind of trucks in the front. I said, and the city doesn't bother you? And I said, well, you know, and he got rude, and I said, yeah, you know, you're like the UN soldiers, right? Like, you just go from house to house tearing everything down. He says, well, we get permits. I said, I bet. And then he told me to mind my own business. And I'm like, but this is my business. But I didn't push it because his buddy called him to him, right? I seen that we were carrying on this conversation, so his buddy with a turban said, hey, come over here. So he walked away from me, telling me to mind my own business. And I'm walking away thinking this is my business because it's your kind and what you do that's pushing me out into homelessness and keeps that cortisol going in my fucking brain even after all these years. This video was done in 2015, and we're now in 2023, and I'm facing the same situation. As I'm documenting how gang stalking works in the community and how they use different agencies to do it, or different individuals, depending on how they want to come in on their attack. The
internet, that this is one of the best places to live in BC? What do they call this? Funny money? Fiat money? What does it mean? They say it has no dollar value. Why are people killing each other over it? Why are people destroying each other over it? Why are they destroying lives over it? Why are they making us argue over it? It's not the fact that Mr. Lace is going away, although it is. Because personally, I don't think anyone has the right to come in here and just start grabbing my property. I don't. The city put the burden on the landlord to come in here and take the chicken away. Why is it the landlord's responsibility when I own the chicken? When the non-profit took it under its wing? Why does my landlord have to do the dirty work for the city? Well, the city holds my landlord's head over, well, we're not done with her yet. Well, let's talk about the yard.
Yeah, because the yard was, as for years, as an excuse to try and evict me, people. The problem with that strategy is, though, as soon as they say, okay, this is the problem in the yard, you either fix it, or we're gonna, like, the game is, they're gonna charge the landlord $15,000 to come in and do whatever it is that they want me to do in an X amount of time, whatever that time may be. Most people would just give up and not do it, where I'd be out there like a dirty fucking shirt for 10 hours, 12 hours, 7 days a week until I dropped, just so they couldn't kick me out, because I had no place to go, people. If I had another affordable, reasonable location to go to, I would have left a long time ago. But I am being held hostage to this house because of the corruption within this province, as well as my family members are being picked off one by one for illegal organ harvesting and or milking of their finances like they did with Uncle John.
You know, we're really going to stick it to her now because she rocked the boat, right? She's been rocking the boat for a long time about the shit pile over here and about the shit pile over there and about the garbage over there, in terms of homeless people not having showers, access to proper showers, homeless people not having access to proper washrooms, and we're talking decade after decade after decade.
Including my own daughter, after the government made her homeless, well, the government workers made her homeless. They expected her to live under those conditions with nobody speaking out about it. And being that I did, just made me a bigger target, right along with the rest of my family, that kept us all fighting at the end of the day, because you never knew where it was coming from when they went on the attack.
Okay? Because when Mayor McCullum was in, you could pull up a video back in those days, 10 years ago. People didn't have access to proper washrooms. Being thrown out of the one little teeny-weeny emergency shelter that they have.
My kids were working at McDonald's, Tisha and Shemay. They were serving 2,000 people a day in an 8-hour shift, with 1,000 of those people directly homeless, with the large majority of them living at McDonald's, okay? Or on the McDonald property, because they had no place to go. All right, people. It was real. It is real.
With no shoes on, and to go back and find out that all their stuff has been thrown in the garbage by the cops. So let's go pick on Judy and her awning that she's building for the pond that she wants to put in next year. Or for the greenhouse with some of the wood over there because I haven't had a chance to finish the greenhouse this year. Or because she has chickens that when I was going to court for Andre was one of the things that helped to have him come back home because I was able to provide nutritious food for him in terms of eggs, protein, that type of thing. In the event of the income in the house disappearing, like John. Right? Because there was a, like, I'm not sure if she was a social worker or what. I think she kind of was. Helped me with the paperwork because I was doing all this yard work. Every time she came over, I was out in the freaking yard doing yard work. Same thing with some other person that they hooked me up with for a while. He said, oh, I don't mind coming to your house because we just sit in the yard. You know, and I'm working and he's talking, and I was doing yard work as I was interacting with these people coming to my house. That's how much yard work I've been doing. I couldn't even sit down and do paperwork for the MCFD. I had to have a social worker come in and help me and watch me live it. Oh, well, gee. You know, well, what's going to happen when the income drops in the house? How do you plan on looking after Andre? Well, I don't know. I have chickens, so I got the egg thing covered, right? And I got a lot of eggs, people. And they're better eggs than what you buy in the grocery store. But the city doesn't care about that. Because, again, they don't care if they got hungry kids in this district. 60,000 kids in this district, only 22 have in 2005, somewhere around that time, there was 60,000 students from K to 12 in this district. Surrey, Langley, whatever it is, White Rock, I don't know, whatever the district is of Surrey. 360,000 people, 60,000 kids, right, from K to 12. Only 2,200, which that number I know for a fact has stayed stagnant for the last 10, 12 years and hasn't moved because they got it reduced down to a couple of schools where the poorest of the poorest of the poor were the refugees, those kind of kids, got nothing, treated worse than anything you could possibly imagine when it comes to this stuff. So out of 60,000 kids, 2,200 kids have access to a catered-in cold lunch. And you know there's more than 2,200 kids hungry out of 60,000. You know that for a fact. But it's all politics, just like it is with the homeless people. Just like it is with this place. Right? So I'm not going to fight. I'm not even going to talk. I'm just going to stand there and videotape as these people bark out orders at me, make threats, like whatever, to me, right? They won't give me paperwork unless it's an eviction notice.
So,
you know,
I don't know if
stuff
this
is
was
happening without any fucking legal paperwork. I got the city
recording?
coming in here raping and pillaging my yard of things that don't belong to them.
Recording, yeah.
I got my landlord showing up at any moment just to take off with the hens and Mr. Lace and disappear with him and the hens and to never know what will ever happen again.
I might be
And you see, it's not going to just start with Mr. Lace because we got the city coming in 2 weeks apparently to
I'll put an application
remove
in. It's
wood,
legal now.
toys, tools, planter pots, bricks, that kind of stuff.
It was legal back then. It's just I didn't apparently have enough
And then charge my landlord for it.
square
so he'll get
footage
mad
on the
and kick me
property.
out.
But now they changed it.
And quite possibly
Now I
shut
do,
down this
so.
house and make it even
And the hen
harder
house
for my
area is
landlord.
3/4 done,
Make it
right?
even harder for my landlord. But you see, my landlord doesn't really care at this point in life because he's old and, you know, he's been through a
The only
lot.
problem
right?
is
And his health isn't
raccoons
necessarily
have
the
been
best.
territorial
And
on
he's
this property.
been, ever since I moved in, he's been having some guy troll him.
And you gotta
I'm
watch
talking.
those big
He's
rats
been having
outside
some
that
guy
live outside.
stalk
They
him,
love chickens.
bugging
They
him
suck
all
the
the
blood
time
off
to
of
buy this
chickens.
location because it's right
They
on an
can
alley.
put their little
It's paid
fangs
for
into
either
a chicken's neck.
apartments
That's
or
what
a
they do.
monster
They
home.
suck the blood out.
And last count was $700,000 for
And they
this
come in
shanty
from
shack
underneath the
of a
ground because they
bungalow.
dig from underneath and
Which
burrow.
we call home.
And they'll come up from underneath. So
And
you
we're
have
being
to
ran
run
out
a
of it.
screen at the bottom of
Yes.
your chicken coop
Are they going to take
and
the
make
money
sure
tomorrow,
that
people?
no rat can get in. But
Is
then
my
eventually,
landlord, can you go away? Stop
eventually
it.
though, they can
Stop
chew
it.
through the wire.
Stop! Don't be rude. Is my landlord's daughter going to take the money tomorrow? Because I told my landlord, stop it. I'm almost done. I told my landlord that as soon as it came in, I would call her. Because I cannot afford to pay the bills with it. I cannot afford to do anything with it. Andre, stop it. Because this is important.
No, it's not.
It is.
But no, I want
This affects people's lives.
No. No, you put the cat food in here.
You already gave them some. It's only a small bag. I can't even afford to buy cat food, people.
Imploding the house from the inside.
That's it.
Bankrupting me.
Okay, so now I'm in the back here.
Targeting
people.
my kids
Getting
for
ready to
illegal
see-
organ
come in here
harvesting.
and Tear my place apart.
Injuring my grandchildren
Distinguish
at the
what is
time of their
garbage and what is
birth.
not. Just take what
Just
they
a
want.
whole long list of
Where they take it,
things.
who knows, right?
Why are you standing there listening to yourself?
I managed to
You
wash
are
4
so
of those
cute.
and put them away.
Pesty, just
I,
like you're
I
still
didn't bother
pesty.
with the rest because of that drought, right? I thought, since the city was saying, don't worry about the back, we'll deal with that like next month.
That's probably
As
when
if
they had me outside for 10 fucking months.
My backyard
7
makes
days
it
a
so I
week,
can't
5
live in
days
my
to
house.
7 days a week for 12 hours a
I
day,
did have
people.
a wash there at one point, but then I don't really have storage.
Well,
because I
those
have
10
to
hours,
remember?
10 to
Haven't
10,
done
yeah,
that
that's
yet.
12 hours. I start at 10
That
in the
one on
morning
that
and
side is
finish
full.
10 at
If
night
I
in the
put anything
summertime.
underneath the stairs, it just gets trashed in the end. The same thing with the garage.
Work until
the
dark when it
carport.
comes fall and winter.
So anyway, just wash it again and let it dry and
Start
put
at
it
10,
away, right?
work till 5, 6, 7,
That was
whenever
all
it
clean
got
at one
dark,
point.
depending on what time of season it was, whether it was fall or winter.
I'm just gonna sit here and just record the action.
The only time
as
I
it
ever
goes
got
by.
a break was when it was
seriously.
fucking snow out there.
Like seriously. I'll be back. Hold on. Okay, who is that, Andre?
Mickey the guard cat.
Mickey the gardener cat. Why are we not surprised, eh,
Yeah,
Andre?
and the little
You can hear the
No, the
the
little kitty's
chickens.
in the house in a corner hiding out somewhere sleeping.
Yeah.
Right? She'll come out when she's hungry, misses her mummy cat. She'll come out. So anyway, people, I gotta get started on this yard here. Do something anyway. Okay, so I'll let the chickens out here. Mr. Dace, you're gonna be going to the farms.
This is Mr. Lace. Oh,
Yeah,
we
you and
so
your lady
still
friends.
miss Mr. Lace. I
You notice,
love that
people,
bird,
his
man.
Feathers are coming back in. Can you see that? They're coming in stronger. Hey, Mr. Lace, and he's got his strength back, and he's starting to crow more. Right. That was something that when the water up on the porch was pouring down and I had to unplug my deep freeze, I had made those kale rolls. Remember that, people? Anyway, I told my younger daughter to put it downstairs in the freezer, and instead she stuck it in the fridge. So of course it unthawed, and it never got baked. So that's what I did yesterday. I let the chickens pick at it, and you can see they're quite happy with it, right? And then now the leaves I'll just throw out into the compost. This is your last meals coming in. And pretty soon you won't see this anymore. In some ways I'm okay with it because chickens are dirty. Right? Because it's not like you can train them to go to the bathroom in one spot. Kind of makes you wonder how these third world countries like Mexico and places like that get along with their chickens running in and out of their houses yet. You know, they go right into the hut. At least these ones are outside. I really wanted to move them over there
Yeah.
and partition
Well, gotta work on that
other
this year.
piece on this side, because then I could let them out a little earlier, because I don't sometimes let them out till late, right?
See what happens.
Just enough for them to...
Just for fun for the kids. For my landlady to get her bounty.
Anyway,
You have any eggs,
I don't
Judy?
know. I guess I'm going to have to
Well,
take the
Mrs.
city to
Gill,
court.
actually, I have a full basket full for you.
File a lawsuit
Isn't that just grand?
against the city.
Oh, she'd be so happy.
For infringement on basic human rights. Like, seriously. Enemies of the state. Are chickens and roosters enemies of the state? Seems that way.
Because they want to control the food supply, that's why. That's why they don't want you to have roosters, because they don't want you,
Okay, people, so I think what this is boiling
having
down
fertile
to
eggs, right?
is there are some
So that
people
you
in this
can
neighborhood
have your
that I
own
live in are
eggs
just simply
versus
jealous
relying on a grocery
and are trying to
store.
cause trouble. This reminds me of Gateway Place, when I used to go out and do things with the kids. And just some people, just like I said before, didn't want people to be happy.
It's still like
said
that,
to my
people. It's
landlord's
worse
daughter,
now.
You know, the city keeps throwing around, somebody complained. Who? First of all, where's the paperwork on the complaint? When did it come in? Because this, you know, when they showed up
No,
in May,
people, they
it's the first
wanted
time
me
we
out
heard
of the
about it.
house so that they could rent it out for
Well,
two
I
times or
don't know.
3 times
Well, we're
more
supposed to find out
than
who
what
the
I
one
was
person is in the
paying,
neighborhood.
because every
When I said to
year
the city, well, how
rent
about I
was
go from
doubling
house to house to, you know, get a little petition going here. See who's
like
really bothered by
clockwork.
Mr. Lace.
If you
Oh, no,
started
no,
off
don't
at
do that.
900,
Just wait. Hang
next year
tough.
you were looking at
Yeah, hang
1200
tough
or
for them to
1500.
stress out
The
my
year
landlord,
after that, you're
my
looking
landlord
at
to stress out her
2000,
daughter,
2500.
and,
The year
you know,
after
and
that, you're looking for
threats of the city coming
3500
in 2
or
weeks from now and
4000.
shutting down the
That's
house.
what's been going
I'm
on
getting
year
kicked
after
out.
year after year as they're tearing
We're
down
all gonna be
houses,
homeless.
forcing
Mr. Lace
people
is
into
gonna be
homelessness,
raided in the middle of the
okay,
night.
and building
Hold on.
fucking buildings that sit empty. What was that I said?
You know, the city keeps throwing around, somebody complained. First of all, where's the paperwork on the complaint? When did it come in? Because this, you know, when they showed up in May, it's the first time we heard about it. Oh, I don't know.
May.
Oh, you're supposed to
And they
find
still
out who
had
that
me
one
out
person
there
is in the neighborhood.
in freaking November, or
When I
whenever
said
this
to the city,
video
well,
was
how about
done.
I go from house to
September.
house, you know,
They
get a
had
little
me out
petition
there for
going
10
here.
fucking
See
months
who's really
straight,
bothered by
people.
Mr. Lace. Oh, no, don't do that. Just wait. Hang tough.
Moving wood in
Yeah,
the
hang
rain.
tough for them to stress out my landlord, and my landlord to stress out her daughter, and, you know, and threats of city coming in 2 weeks from now and shutting down the house, and I'm getting kicked out, and we're all going to be homeless. Mr. Lace is going to be raided in the middle of the night.
And that
Hold
story
on.
hasn't changed, people. I'm still faced with homelessness.
Who's really bothered by Mr. Lace? Oh, no, don't do that. Just wait. Hang tough. Yeah, hang tough for them to stress out my landlord, and my landlord to stress out her daughter, and, you know, and threats of city coming in 2 weeks from now and shutting down the house, and I'm getting kicked out, and we're all going to be homeless. Mr. Lace is going to be raided in the middle of the night. Hold on.
Yeah. And what was the comment on that from Shelley? I don't have too many happy memories in this house, people. I really don't. It's been a really hard house to live in. And through that drama and trauma, I went blind. Yeah, and nobody can't tell me that all that drama and trauma and fucking yard work didn't contribute to my eyesight, lack of eyesight. How sweet Andre sounds. He is so young here. I'm going to watch all your videos from 8+ years ago. Well, it would be much easier if I would just put them into a playlist for you, but I'm so busy. So this thing only has one comment. I don't know about that, because the thing about YouTube is comments just sometimes disappear. Because these accounts get closed, and once they're closed, they disappear. Everything that's connected to this account, if it gets shut down, will all disappear, including comments. So if you come into my videos and you see me address somebody, but that somebody's no longer there, that's because their account got closed down for whatever reason. Right? So we'll just give her our heart.